Hi. I'm in dire need of talking about Pirates of the Caribbean or I might explode. I want to talk about how bad the fifth one is and why there shouldn't be another one. This is completely unscripted. I'm just going to talk off the top of my head. I need to talk about my opinions, like I said, or I'll explode. I think that the first three are such masterpieces and they should have just left it there. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like the fourth one. The fourth one is enjoyable. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy Penelope Cruz in it. But it just doesn't reach the heights of the first three. I mean, what can I say? The first three are just immaculate. Everything about them is so perfect. The acting, the storyline. Can we talk about the whole Tia Dama, Davy Jones storyline? That's amazing. Amazing. And then it's followed with some bullshit Barbossa child. Like, what? I want to talk about the costuming first. I know this isn't as important as to why the film is shit, but I think it makes such a difference. Jack Sparrow doesn't look right. He just doesn't look right. He looks like an imposter. He looks like an airbrushed version of himself, even though he's aged. I think the first few films get that raggedy pirate look really well. Jack Sparrow genuinely looks like he's been under the sun for such a long time. You know, he's tanned, but it's like a natural tan. He looks like he hasn't showered for days. For months. Whereas in the fifth film, he looks like he's got dark foundation on. He looks like he's had a spray tan and has a foundation a shade too dark on. He just looks too clean. He doesn't look dirty. Second of all, I don't like how long his hair is, and I don't like that it's going blonde. I understand that hair bleaches in the sun, and I understand that hair grows, but I don't like it. Okay. Also, I actually can't place what's wrong with the costume, but there is something wrong with the costume. It does not look right. Okay, I'm gonna move on from that because I think all the other characters are fine. This is a side note. Look how tiny he looks in this shot because of his coat. He looks tiny. He looks like Thorin. What the fuck? Okay, you can continue now. I want to talk about the character of Jack Sparrow now. Because it's just not there. He's just not Jack Sparrow anymore. Now, a lot of people say, oh yeah, Johnny Depp doesn't know how to play the character anymore. My dad personally thinks that Jack wasn't supposed to feel like Jack until the end, but I don't think he ever gets there in the film. He's just not Jack. I think a major difference to me is in the first three, he feels like a drunk person trying to act sober. But he's also really intelligent, like he's really clever. Obviously he escapes, he has all these plans mapped out in his head that are all really clever.
You're mad.
Thank goodness for that, because if I wasn't, this would probably never work.
But in the fifth one, he's just a stupid drunk.
That was not part of the plan.
And that is all there is to the character. There's no intelligence behind it, there's no trying to be sober, if that makes sense. He's just stupid. And that's really annoying because, like, the charm to Jack Sparrow is that he's really clever and really silly, but not silly in a childish way. He's just funny. You know what I mean? It's like the essence of Jack. Johnny Depp usually adds his own ad-libs and adds stuff to the script. Like, he did that in the first three, I believe. He was allowed to look at the script, add in things that he thought were Jackish. And he wasn't allowed to do that on the fifth film because it was made by completely different people, which I think is very interesting. And I do know, because I know that a lot of the very famous lines were ad-libs, like, "Now bring me that horizon" was an ad-lib. I'm just saying. I don't want to state any opinions about Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, any of that stuff, but I do know they were together when this was being filmed. And I do know that Johnny Depp was having problems getting to set and that there was a lot of shit going on. So that, I think, does factor in. Moving on from that, Johnny Depp does not watch any of the films he's been in. So I do think that might play apart. Like, he doesn't remember how he played Jack Sparrow, and he's never watched it back, so how would he know? And I also know that he visits children's hospitals dressed up as Jack Sparrow. Now, I personally have a theory that he's goofed up Jack Sparrow going to these children's hospitals, making little kids laugh, you know, entertaining them, acting goofy, acting silly. And that's just who Jack has changed into in his head. And he hasn't watched back any of the old movies. He doesn't remember how Jack acted. He doesn't remember the script. He doesn't remember how intelligent Jack is or what Jack was like. He just has this new, silly Jack Sparrow that is just there to make children laugh.
Why do you know how to spell it and I don't? I don't understand. We've come to take you to the room of spiders.
That's personally where I think it went. Also, I just think he kind of outgrew the character. You know, it's just not the same. And I hate that they tried to carry it on when it was just so perfect as it was. Anyway, moving on from Jack, I want to talk about the new characters. Because I hate them all. Karina is so fucking annoying. It's not because she's a woman who knows what she wants, because I am a feminist and I love women and I love women who know what they want. She's just insufferable. She's just annoying. She's just stuck up her own arse and she just pisses me off, to be frank. And I can't look at her without seeing Effie Stoneman. Stoneman? I can't fucking speak without seeing Effie Stoneham. I'm sorry. And then Henry is so substanceless. He is so substanceless. Can you tell me one character trait of Henry? No, I don't think you can, because he's so boring. He's obsessed with his dad for some reason. Like, move on, mate. Sorry, that might be a bit harsh. He just likes Karina for no reason other than she's the only woman in the vicinity of him. They have no chemistry at all. I'm not rooting for them together. I'm not rooting for anything, to be honest. There's no character development. They're just shit. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. I don't like them. Speaking of other characters, Gibbs would not leave Jack. I don't care how broke they are or how shit Jack is now. I do not believe that Gibbs at any point would ditch Jack. I don't believe that for a second. Actually, something positive, I know, positive from me. I really like where they went with Barbossa. Like, I really like that posh vibe of him with his, like, 70 ships with his wig on and, you know, him being all fancy and full of himself. I really like that. I think they overdid it a little bit, but I really enjoyed it. I think it was a good route for the character. Who else is there? Feels a bit weird that Scrum's there. I just feel like he wouldn't still be with Jack. I think he'd be doing his own thing. Also, the way Elizabeth is literally just gone back to chilling on a hill in a cottage really pisses me off, because that's really out of character. Let's think about it. In the first 3 films, she wants the adventure. She's been dreaming about, like, gallivanting with pirates since she was a little kid. She wants adventure and she enjoys adventure, which is why she has that little thing for Jack, because it's not Jack, it's what he represents, and he represents freedom and pirating and, like, doing what she wants. She doesn't want to be wearing corsets and flouncing around, and yet here she is in a little house with her son in her corsets. Do you know what I mean? Like in my brain, if I pictured their lives, I expected Elizabeth to be off doing something that she enjoys, not sitting in a corset waiting for Will for 10 years. It's just not what I pictured. Another positive note, I really did enjoy Javier Bardem as Salazar. I think he did a really good job. I think the character was really interesting and it was really fun. I didn't like how the character got there. And, you know, the storyline, but we're gonna get onto the storyline. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the storyline. It's shit. So they made an amazing decision not to have the original writers writing it. They didn't put any thought into the storyline. Let's talk about all the plot flaws that I can think of off the top of my head right now. Number 1, the compass. What the fuck? What is this compass storyline? This compass storyline is bullshit. I do not believe it. It is not canon. I don't want it. Ugh. Jack bartered the compass from Tiadama. Tiadama literally says, the compass that you bartered from me. Jack got the compass from Tiadama. He did not get it from a dying captain. Not to mention the amount of times that Jack has given away the compass in previous films and nothing has happened. Next plot hole. At the start of the film, Jack picks up a gold coin, the only coin left from the vault. Stupid. Oh, God, don't even get me started on the vault. He picks up a coin, puts it in his pocket. Next thing we know, he's trading his compass for some alcohol that he doesn't even get to drink. Where did that coin go? Didn't he pick up a coin? Sorry, did I imagine that? Nobody saw that. Nobody in the whole of post-production. Nobody in the whole production. Nobody saw that. The whole ship thing. This weird little cave where ships become cursed wasn't really thought out. Doesn't really make much sense to me. Like think about how complex the heart of Davy Jones' storyline is. The fact that Jack wanted to stab the heart to be free forever. The fact that he saved Will and Will has to... You know, there's so many things. The fact that Tia Dharma is actually Calypso. You know, she brought Barbossa back from the dead to save Jack so she could save herself. Just, like, it's so in-depth and it's so well thought through that I feel like the fifth film is actually a mockery. Because it's just not thought out at all. And it really annoys me. Sorry, I just went into demon mode. Next up, the Trident of Poseidon. What the fuck? What? You're telling me this whole time none of these films have mattered because they could have just broken all of these curses with this trident? Are you kidding me? I cannot. I'm very sad Barbossa died. That was upsetting. The first time I watched it, bearing in mind I was like, I don't know, 15, I did cry because I love Barbossa and he's one of the best characters in the franchise. Fight me. I don't know, I think the daughter thing was a bit random, a bit uncalled for. Okay, I'm going to talk about the vault. What kind of stupid plan was that? Who came up with that? No one on that crew would think that that was a good idea. They just did it because they were like, this is goofy, this is Jack Sparrow. No, Jack Sparrow thinks out every single plan he ever has. Are you stupid? Gibbs agreed to that. Everyone in the crew agreed to that. Are you joking? Editing Emily here. I just want to remind you, this is the same pirate that pulled off the heist of the Interceptor with 2 people. Do I need to say more? What else is there? What else can I think of? The random witch. That was very random. The fact that they... do you know what? The fact that they had to have the Beatles in there. The fact that they had to have Paul McCartney in there because they had Keith Richards in the other one. Dude. The guillotine scene, I didn't find it amusing. The bantering between, what's-her-face, Karina and Henry, We've seen the not entering on land before. We've seen the not able to step foot on land before. You could have come up with something a little bit more fresh. I forgot to talk about the ship in a bottle storyline and how much potential it had just to be met with Barbossa with Blackbeard's sword. Like, I thought the movie would be more about, like, the ship in the bottle and blah-de-blah-de-blah. You know, they left it so they could do a storyline with that, and they didn't. And that was very sad. So Jack as a kid on that ship being gifted every single thing he ever owned. Like, I like to think that over the years Jack collected, like, all these things. You know, he collected this hat from this part of his life. You know, the little scarf thing he has hanging down, he collected that from another part of his life. But no, he earned it all this one time on this ship. That's where he got everything he owns from. Like, no. And also, can we talk about the CGI? Why? Okay, you can call me a hater. I am just a hater. But, like, why did they have to CGI Jack to look young? Why didn't they just get somebody who looks a little bit like Johnny Depp who's young? I think he looked too Jack-like. I wish his hair wasn't dreadlocked at that point. Or, I don't know, there's just so many little choices that I think could have been better. Choices. I think that's everything I have to say about the 5th film. I don't think they need to make another film. You know how they're bringing out one with Margot Robbie, apparently. Like, just leave it alone. Why can't Disney just leave things alone? It's really pissing me off. They're just making so many sequels and prequels, remaking all the Disney films. I just feel like it's just for money. Like, I feel like they're not making films with any substance currently. Maybe I'm wrong. maybe I can't think of anything right now. But I just feel like they just want money. Although I am kind of looking forward to the Little Mermaid remake, I'm not gonna lie. Why do they need another Pirates of the Caribbean? Why does it have to be related to Pirates of the Caribbean? Why don't you make a new pirate movie? I mean, there's not actually that many. Just make a new pirate movie with Margot Robbie as the lead. Why does it have to be connected to Pirates of the Caribbean in any way? We don't need a Pirates of the Caribbean cinematic universe. We don't. I also think that maybe instead of Margot Robbie, Natasha Lyonne would be a really good lead pirate. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I'm deceased. I don't know. I think that's all I have to say. I just wanted to rant about it, really. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, because I just really didn't enjoy it. You might have liked it. You might have thought it was cool. That's okay. I just didn't. Okay, my big Pirates of the Caribbean rant is over. Thank you for joining me. I'm gonna go watch the first 3 films, one after each other, and cry myself to sleep. Goodbye. Squawk, squawk.